Hey, it's Appalachian ADV Rider here, and I'm doing my very first knife comparison. So I'm going to finish up on this on videos about the Microtech Bravo. What I've discovered is I think a lot of people are upset with this knife being made in China, and that the views on it are pretty low. But on the other hand, I own the knife. I really like the knife. So I'm talking about it. I'm reviewing it. There are some people out there that like it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up on this video. And join me on Facebook and Instagram under Appalachian ADV Rider. All right. Then again, and what you're going to find is this review is going to be, or this comparison is going to be based on my biases. So I'm biased toward a USA-made knife that's bigger and bulkier and heavier. So that's typically what I like. So this is all for fun. I'm going to score this based on, my preferences as of right now. And then what you're going to find at the end is that, one of these features is going to override any other feature. It's going to have the greatest weight. So basically for me, which one I carry is based on one feature. But you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's get right into it. Thanks for joining me. And here we go. So blade steel on these two knives. Well, they're both M390. So M390, M390. And so I'm going to say they're both equal to each other. There you go. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm giving them both the one. At one point I said they were tied, but who knows? At the end, you'll see what I'm talking about. So now the next thing is size. Well, they're exactly the same size as far as I'm concerned. And you'll hear a lot of people, and so that's going to be a tie or a one each, right? You'll hear a lot of people say you can't compare this knife to that knife. I completely don't believe that at all, quite honestly. If you look at these knives, they're the same knives. I mean, they're made of different material. They're made in different countries. They have some slight cosmetic differences. And this one is like pieced together, where this one has a back spacer, right? But I mean, essentially the form factor, it's the same exact knife, whatever. This one's a liner lock, this one's a frame lock. Anyway, all right, got where I was going with that. So size are the same, weight. So this is where the bias is going to come in, right? The Elite weighs 5.2 ounces. While the Bravo weighs 5.7. The Elite's made out of aluminum, and the Bravo is made out of titanium, which is heavier than aluminum, and some carbon fiber, which is pretty light. But at the end of the day, this has, back spacer. There's more. It uses heavier materials, right? I mean, the clip is a milled clip as opposed to a stamped clip. Here's a stamped clip, so it's heavier. So the weight is actually better on the Bravo. I like a heavier knife. So I'm going to give it a win there, right? So hardware. This here is, they both have a T20 pivot. And so when I'm talking about hardware, I'm talking about the size of the hardware. And these have T8s, while this one has T6s. There are probably as many screws. I haven't counted them. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 screws here, and there's 6 actually here. So underneath this scale, there's 6. So the number of screws are the equal amount. So there's a lot of hardware in both of these. But this one has beefier, bigger hardware. So I'm going to give a win to the Bravo in the hardware department. All right. So the grip, let's talk about that. The grip or the scales. The Elite uses a inlay. It's sort of like a rubberized grip. It's only on one side. And this is the manual. They have an automatic one. I think on the automatic, they have grip on the other side, but don't quote me on that. So this has inlays, and then this just uses texturing to hold it in your hand. I'm going to say, in my opinion, the use of traction is better on the Bravo, only because it's built in, right? Where these inlays, well, I don't know if they've ever failed. That's a failure point because it's probably glued in there more than likely. And if they become unglued, that's something you have to do, where the jimping here is what causes the grip. And that's never going away, right? I mean, you can round it a little bit, but that's a little more permanent. So, for the traction or the grip, I'm giving it to the Bravo. Now, the ergonomics, the clear winner in the ergonomics here, without question, is the Elite. I think part of it is because it's two pieces put together. So the major area that stinks on the Bravo is this side here, where the frame lock is flat, and the inside lip of these titanium scales are somewhat sharp, and this area is kind of sharp. Now, like this, so this whole side is kind of sharp. So this, when you grip it, the top feels fine, but this whole section down here doesn't feel real good, and the clip is actually pretty tall, and it presents like a hot, I'm not going to call it a hot spot, but I guess it's there. You can feel it. It's not sharp. It's not digging into you, but it's there. So the ergonomics on this knife is so much better. It's got a liner lock, and you can see the part that's going up against the tang of the blade. It's got a curve. The scales are curved. The lock is curved. And here there's only that one side's curved. So the ergonomics on this knife is much better in this area. When you grip it, it's real smooth. Don't forget, when you grip it, this is where you put all your strength is in between these two fingers. So it's nice to have a good smooth area there. And these are thicker scales that are rounded, and there's no sharp area here. I mean, the jimping here is definitely not as sharp as this jimping. So the ergonomics on this knife just feels so much better. So clear winner for me in the ergonomics department is the Elite. Locking mechanism. So again, this is preference. I prefer a liner lock because you can grab this liner lock and grip it any way you want, and you're not really changing, you're not putting much pressure on the bar that's going up against the tang of the blade, or basically the lockout. You're not putting any pressure on the lockout. Where here you're putting all the pressure on this lockout. When I grip it in this pinch grip, I'm coming down, I'm squeezing it together. I'm putting downward force on this thing. I mean, this design is so much better. Locking mechanism. Liner lock wins for me. Clip position. I mean, this is the thing that matters the most for me, quite honestly. This is a tip-up carry. This is a tip down, meaning when it's sitting in your pocket, the knife is tipped down. I prefer tip up. Don't like a tip down. And part of the reason is if you have it in your pocket, if you're a right-handed person like myself and you keep it in your front pocket, the knife goes down into your pocket and the blade is exposed to being opened inside your pocket. This, you don't have that problem, because when you put it in your pocket, the blade is now, if it does open, it would open up against the inside of your seam of your pocket. So this is much safer to carry than this. So clip position is, for me, clear winner is Bravo. And this actually happens to be probably the most important thing to me when I carry a knife, right? Can I carry it? Do I like the position? I feel that, you know, carrying a knife with the tip down is unsafe for me. You could put it in your back pocket. So if you were to put it in your back pocket, then the blade would open up against the seam on your back pocket, but then this is sticking out, and if you're, you know, drive your car and you got leather seats like I do, or, you know, sitting around the house and on your couch or whatever, a wooden seat, I mean, this would dig into whatever you're sitting on. So I don't really like that. So clip position, we gave that to my man Bravo. So easing in and out of the pocket. Well, I mean, really, honestly, the Elite wins here. I'm always the kind of a function over form kind of guy, and from a function standpoint, the pocket clip on the Elite is better. I mean, the position sucks, but the clip itself works so much better. It's easier to get in and out of the pocket, mainly. I just really like that. And it's not, there's no hot spots there. You know, you don't really, I mean, it's hard for me to judge this one. I'm not going to talk about the hot spots as much because it really, you know, the position of it is different than I'm used to. You know, do I feel a hot spot? Yeah, there's a little bit right here in my hand there. But it just carries so much better in the pocket. So I'm going to say the ease in and out of the pocket is definitely the Elite. So knife action. Here's an important thing. If anybody knows me, man, I can't stand double clutch position. You know, double clutch on a knife here, on a frame lock knife. And that's basically what that is you go to release the blade, you push it down a little bit, and then it's basically hasn't cleared the detent ball yet. So, you know, you cleared the tang of the lock, or the, you know, the end of the lock, but you haven't cleared the detent ball. So now you're taking your finger off, you're trying to close it, but it won't drop shut because it's got this detent ball that you need to clear. And as soon as you clear it, you can see now it will drop shut if it's ever going to drop shut. So that is called a double clutch position, double clutch. This knife doesn't have that. I mean, you push it down and then it's clear, right? And then you can see it's just a nicer drop shut knife too. I mean, it just, look how that drops compared to this. So once you get it past that area, you still got to shake it, and it doesn't really drop as good. So this has a much nicer action than this any day of the week. So I'm going to give that to the Bravo. Material. So this is you know, preference. I'm just going to say in terms of the cost of materials, and I'm going to give the win to Bravo, but you know, you can say that the Elite can win because you like the sound. I mean, there's a definite different sound when you open this knife versus that. This has more of a thwacking sound. It's the aluminum that's really kind of doing it, and you know, maybe with this one, the carbon, you know, the titanium is denser, so it doesn't thwack as much. And maybe with the carbon fiber, it's dampening some of the sound. I mean, it's a great sound. It's just, it's a different sound. And I think the sound on the Elite is better, but, you know, that's preference. But, so that kind of goes with the material. You know, for me, I'm just going to judge this based on, these are more expensive materials and there's more of it. So I'm going to give the win to the Bravo here. Now, features. The only thing that's really different between these two knives in terms of features is, you know, besides the clip, you know, the position of the clip, is the glass breaker on the Bravo. So, you know, I mean, excuse me, on the Elite. So this has a glass breaker. This doesn't. They both, you know, are the same size. You both have a butt. You know, you probably, you know, use this to break something, but it doesn't have a glass breaker. So, and everything else is pretty much the same. So I'm going to give the features a win for the Elite. Cutting edge. This is a clear win here for the Elite. No questions asked. The blades are very, very similar. Especially, I have Tonto for both of these, right? So the blade thickness is very similar. The shape is the exact shape. I mean, there's a Foley here, which they removed some weight, some material, where this is just, you know, complete steel. But other than that, the knives are the same. But this Elite is so much slicier, and that's because of the edge here, you know, the blade edge, the bevel. I haven't measured this yet. I mean, this could be like a 17 degree or 18 degree bevel on it, where, I mean, this is clearly, I mean, 25 or maybe even 30 degree. It's probably 25, but so this doesn't slice anywhere near as well as this knife, except this knife does slice really good in the in this section right here. I mean, it's real thin behind the edge here. And wow, that's just a great slicer. So what category? So cutting edge, I'm going to give that to the Elite. Now, you know, the Bravo, you could take down the edge, you know, you can sharpen it, but, you know, we're talking about as the stock. Company of origin, obviously I'm biased, so, you know, US is where I prefer. I don't normally buy Chinese knives, you know, but I bought the Bravo because I wanted the same form factor in the Elite, but I wanted the, you know, the tip up knife position, and this one came tip up, so I bought it. And fit and finish, both of these knives are, you know, so well made, and they're both excellent fit and finish. But I'm going to give the win here to Bravo only because, excuse me. So in the fit and finish, I'm going to give the win to Bravo only because there's so much more workmanship that goes into this knife versus this knife. I mean, look at the scales, right? So this carbon fiber is grooved, and it's got a fit in the titanium here. It's got this back spacer that's got all this milling in it, all this jimping that has to be, you know, designed by somebody and fitted, cut and fitted. The pocket clip this is a stamped pocket clip where this is milled. There's just a lot more going on in this knife here. Even the blade itself, it's got, you know, the fuller, which requires, you know, tooling. And it's got serrations here, and that requires, you know, a lot more work to put an edge on this one. So there's definitely more work. I mean, this has a collar where this doesn't have a collar. So, I mean, there's more parts to it. So I'm going to give the fit and finish to the Bravo, but I'm going to say that they're both excellent fit and finishes. So let me close this knife. I love that action of this one, of that one, and then this one here, you know, whatever. I would love this. So at the end of the day, you know, which one would I recommend? I mean, I guess that all depends upon, you know, what you value the most. And that's the reason why I kind of put this out here and let you look at it. But, you know, and you can tell me or you can tell yourself which one you value the most. You know, for me, it was the clip position, because I just felt that, you know, as much as I love this knife and how much superior it is in many ways, that I just never carried it. I felt it was unsafe to carry this knife. And that's another thing, too. This is the second Elite I got. The first one I got, you can just like rub your finger over here just slightly, and you can I would slice my finger open. The blade here, even now, I can, if I put my meat of my finger in there just a little bit, I can catch my thumb on that edge, and this thing is really, really sharp. So I could cut my finger open on this one. I have yet to really just try to. The other one you didn't have to try to. You just grab it and you would catch your finger. This one you would have to squeeze it a little bit harder. But this one here, the blade is really hidden pretty well, and it's so that's designed better. So this is safer, not only from the perspective of it's a tip up carry, but also this edge is better hidden. So that's the reason why I carry this knife. So if that's not as important to you and you're willing to carry back pocket, or what's more important to you, that it's made in America, this knife in many ways is so much better than this knife, in particular in the ergonomic department. The action on this knife is so much better than the Elite, but the ergonomics of the Elite is hands down so much better than the Bravo, and the sound is so much better. So, what should you carry? You make the decision. But of these two, I carry the Bravo. All right. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like me on Facebook and Instagram. Come join me there. And don't forget to leave a comment and check out my playlist. I've got a lot of knife content in there, and also some camping and motorcycle content. So thanks again for joining me. Again, I really enjoy this. Thank you for your time, and I will see you another time. Bye.